Here's a tutorial for my B-style round nib brush for Procreate. What I like to do first is turn on my canvas. Do this by hitting the wrench bar, hit canvas, and then turn on your drawing guide. Then you're going to make sure that you have your B-style round nib brush selected. Now you're going to start writing your word. When you are pressing hard or firmly, it's going to be dark. When you press lightly, it is going to be transparent or lighter. So keep writing your word, and then what is going to happen next is I'm going to show you places that I like to add flourishes, but if you come to a point where you realize your word needs to be smaller, just resize the word, and then you can go in and grab your brush, and then just where the little size bar is on the left, you can just make it so that it matches the new size that you've made. Alright, so now that we have it matched up, you're then going to continue your word with that little space left for the last part, and that's where we're going to add the flourish. So I'm not doing that first connection of the M, I'm just going to leave the middle part, and I'll show you what I'll do with it later. But this next M, I'm just going to do as I would regularly write it. Alright, now I'm just going to speed this up and finish off my word. Then I'm going to leave the rest of the R blank so that I can add the flourish in there as well. And it's going to take a little bit of practice to really get the flourish that you like. Even if you feel like you've done flourishes for a while, sometimes you want to change it up, and so it just takes a little bit of time to really get the look that you want. So like for this one, it looked really funny and I did not like it. So I just kept practicing until I got one that I really liked, and I just changed my angles and my curves, and then I ended up with this one that I really liked. Then you can just go in, and if there's little edges that happen that you don't like, just go in and clean it up. Alright, so then anywhere that you need to add in, just start doing that now. And for this next little part, I'm just going to speed it up. You'll see that I'm practicing the way I want my R flourish to be, so I'm just going to speed this up. Alright, so now you're going to take your layers, swipe them all to the right, group them, hit flatten. This will bring it all together so that we can blend it. Now hit that finger that's pointing. And I already have it set to my blender brush, so when you hit that blender brush, it's going to act the same as picking a normal brush, except for now it's going to act as a blender. So hit the blender, and if you hit it twice, it will open up and let you select which brush you want to use. And so just go in, pick the blender brush that is part of your B nib pack, and then you're going to go start blending all of the points that meet up. So for colors that are not the same, you're going to want to take the darkest color, or the color that you would have put over top, or a more saturated color. You're going to want to blend that into the lighter color, or the color that would have been underneath. So you're wanting to make this look like the liquid is bleeding into the other colors. And so the bigger the brush is, the kind of more fluid look you're going to have. It's all going to blend really nicely together. The smaller your brush is, you're going to see those really small lines, but each has its own benefit. And so sometimes I'll make my blender brush small if I want to really concentrate on blending the line, and then I'll make it a little bit bigger to really get it to look more smooth. And don't try to worry about making it look perfect, because the way that this is going to work is it's going to have colors that bleed. It's going to have color that gets, depending on how hard you were pushing in real life with your nib, would make the color more saturated in some areas. So it's okay if it does not look perfect. That's not what we're going for. We're just going for blending those lines and making it look like the liquid that you would have been using with the bee nib in real life. We're wanting to make it look like these liquids are merging together and bleeding into the lighter areas or the layers or the lines that are underneath. So that's what we're focusing on right now, is just blending those colors together and taking the more saturated colors and blending them into the other colors. And you can play around with this the way that you want it to look. So I'm going to speed this next part up. I'm just going to go through everywhere that is needing to be blended, and I will meet you back when we're done blending. Alright, so now open your color palette and hit the darker color next to the one that you chose. Make a new layer and turn it onto clipping mask. I'll show you this a few times. So the clipping mask is right there. So you'll hit, oh, not that one, clipping mask. And this is going to make it so that anywhere that you draw over top of this layer is going to only go over top of this. It's not going to go outside of the lines. So I'm hitting that hard edge brush, and I'm going to then go around the edge of all of my letters, and this is going to kind of replicate that dried liquid on the edge, kind of where it settles. And so we're just going to be recreating this look, and it's going to be darker where the other color is darker, and it's going to be lighter where you kind of did less pressure, so that it kind of blends in or matches with what you had below. So go over all of the color. Right now I chose pink, so I did the darker one right next to it, and that's how I have my color palette for this brush set up, is I have a lighter color for the actual nib brush, and then the color right next to it is the darker color that you would use your hard edge brush. You'd use that color with the hard edge brush. And so I have it all set up so that you don't have to try and figure that all out or mess around with it. So this color palette will just save you a lot of time. But don't feel like this color palette's the only one that you can use. Just use it as a guide to more colors that would work together. So finding a light color for the nib brush, and then finding a darker color for that hard edge. Alright, and then I'm just going to speed this next part up just as I go through the rest of these letters. So then I'm going to go and select the darker orange that was next to the first orange I picked, and I'm just going to go around my orange now. I don't cross over, I just do the outline. So I meet up on the edges and then I go the other way rather than crossing over top. Just looks better for me. So that's what I do, is I just go around and I don't go through. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to do is add a paper texture over top. I got these ones from Alien Valley on Creative Market. You're going to put your paper texture in. Some of these are really tan, so I'll show you how to change that. So I'll select my paper, and then I'm going to just size it so that it fits the screen. Now I'm going to hit layer and then hit N and then hit linear burn. This will bring my texture through. Now I'm going to hit that magic wand, hit hue, saturation, brightness, pull the middle bar all the way to the left, and the brightness pull a little bit to the right to make it a little bit brighter. Hit the wrench, hit canvas, and turn your drawing guide off. And that's how you use my bee style round nib brush for Procreate. Hope you enjoyed it.